All right, let's dive right in. We're exploring a really profound chapter from the Bhagavad Gita today. And it starts with a simple but powerful idea. What if your faith, your beliefs, even the food you crave, what if all of that is a direct reflection of your innermost nature? We're going to break down this incredible framework that acts as a mirror for our deepest motivations.
So, this whole discussion kicks off with a fascinating question. Imagine someone who is deeply faithful. They truly believe, but they don't really follow the traditional scriptures or the old rules. Is their faith still valid? And more importantly, what kind of quality does it have? It's a question I think a lot of us can probably relate to in our own lives.
And this is exactly the dilemma that the great warrior Arjuna is facing. He turns to his guide, Krishna, because he needs some clarity. He's trying to understand the inner state of people who act from this place of really strong belief, even if they're kind of setting aside the ancient rule books to do it.
Now, what's so interesting here is that the question isn't just, is this right or wrong? Arjuna is asking something way deeper. He wants to know the quality of that faith. Is it born of purity and goodness, what's called sattva? Is it driven by passion and ambition, that fiery rajas energy? Or does it come from a place of ignorance and darkness, which is tamas?
And Krishna's answer is, well, it's foundational. He explains that our faith isn't something we just choose out of thin air. Nope. It actually stems from our inherent nature, which is this blend of three fundamental qualities, or gunas, that exist in pretty much all of creation.
So here's the core idea. We are not blank slates. The text tells us that we're each born with a certain disposition, a certain wiring. And our faith naturally lines up with this inner nature. So how does this actually play out in the real world?
Well, we can see exactly how our dominant quality, our guna, shapes what we focus on. A Sattvik person, who's driven by purity and goodness, naturally worships the divine. A Rajasik person, who's full of passion and ambition, is drawn to powerful beings, like demigods or even demons. And then you have a Tamasik person, who's influenced by ignorance and inertia. They tend to gravitate towards ghosts and spirits.
And the text makes this incredibly powerful claim right here. Essentially, you are your faith. Your core beliefs, where you place your devotion, those aren't just accessories you pick up. They're a direct, unfiltered reflection of your fundamental self.
But okay, these qualities aren't just some high-level abstract theory. Krishna brings it right down to earth. He shows how they pop up in our most basic, everyday choices, and he starts with the very food we put in our mouths.
Yeah, the breakdown of food is incredibly practical. Sattvik foods are the ones that promote life and health. They're nourishing, they're juicy, they're agreeable. But on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Rajasik and Tamasik foods. These are either excessively flavored, super bitter, sour, or hot, causing pain and disease, or they're just plain bad, stale, tasteless, maybe even rotten. The text suggests our food cravings are a direct mirror of what's going on inside. And this same idea applies to our actions, or sacrifices. A Sattvik action. That's something you do simply because it's the right thing to do. It's a duty, and there are no strings attached. But a Rajasic action, that's all about getting something in return, right? It's about showing off. And a Tamasik action is one that's just done carelessly, with no devotion, no proper procedure, and definitely no generosity. Even our self-discipline, or what the text calls austerity, falls into these categories. Is it Sattvik, done with pure devotion just for self-improvement? Or is it Rajasic, done for public praise and honor, maybe with a little bit of hypocrisy thrown in? Or, in its darkest form, is it Tamasik, based on some foolish idea, causing harm to yourself or maybe even to others? The motivation, you see, is absolutely everything.
And finally, let's look at charity. A Sattvik gift is totally selfless. It's given to the right person at the right time with zero thought of getting something back. A Rajasic gift, on the other hand, is transactional. It's given grudgingly or because you're expecting a favor in return. And a Tamasic gift? Well, that's just thoughtless and disrespectful, given at the wrong time to the wrong person, maybe even with contempt.
So after laying out this entire system of human nature, Krishna offers this profound tool. It's a way to purify and elevate any action, no matter what it is, and connect it to the ultimate reality. This is the principle of Om-Tat-Sat. Now, this isn't just some random chant. The text explains that Om-Tat-Sat is actually a three-part name for the absolute truth, for the ultimate reality, Brahman. And by using it, we can reframe the intention behind literally anything we do and turn it into a kind of spiritual offering.
So how does it actually work in practice? Well, first, you begin any significant act by uttering Om to invoke the divine.
Then you perform the act with the spirit of Tat, which means that, to signify that this isn't for your personal gain, but for that ultimate reality. And finally, the action is grounded in Sat, which stands for goodness and reality, making the whole deed steadfast and true.
And all of this brings us to the final, powerful conclusion of the chapter. After explaining all of these categories and all these tools, Krishna circles right back to the most fundamental element of all, faith.
And this right here, this is the mic drop. This is the final verdict. You can perform all the rituals, give all the charity, and practice all the austerities you want. But if it's done without genuine faith, the Gita calls it Asat, which literally means non-existent. It has no value, not in this life and not in the next. The belief and the intention behind the action are what give it life.
And so that leaves us with a question to really reflect on. When you look at your own daily life, the food you eat, the work you do, the way you give back, what's the dominant quality you see? Is it rooted in goodness, in passion, or maybe in ignorance? This ancient framework isn't just philosophy, it's a mirror for some serious self-understanding.